Well, hello again. This morning I thought I'd like to go back in history a little bit and talk about one of the favourite sports of Australia called cricket. I'd like to take us back to the year of 1868, and before I read this poem I'd like to warn our Indigenous folk that some names in this poem are of members who have passed away, but the names that are given here are either names they've given themselves or were called that. They are not their tribal names. And it's called our first touring cricket team. Australia has its cricket heroes, all skilled masters at the game. Men like Bradman, Lillee, Border have become a household name. If I take the time to mention Johnny Muller, Two Penny, Dick, would you know these men as heroes who did wield the willow stick? They were men of our first touring team who crossed the ocean wide to face the Poms in England, the black Australian side. The captain was Charles Lawrence, the only white man on the team. Both he and Thomas Hamilton helped dress these men in cream. From the west side of Victoria, down around Lake Wallace Way, they got these men together, taught them how the game to play. There were those who would not play them, 'neath their dignity they thought, who would play against a coloured in this gentlemanly sport. In one match they played East Hampshire. Two Penny beat 'em all, in 10 overs taking 9 for 9, a master with the ball. Johnny Muller, first-class batsman, always hit a real good score. Every match he was a winner, averaged almost 24. They played matches to the number, 43 is what they say, winning 14, drawing 15, 14 went the other way. But the climate in Old England played a rather fatal role and hastened the untimely death of our best fielder called King Cole. There's a tombstone down in Harrow marking Johnny Muller's grave, and his bat and pads lay with him as respect for all he gave. These men were great Australians who did pull crowds through the gate when they played the Poms in England back in 1868. So there you go, that's a bit of our cricket history, and I decided that it was worth putting that into a little poem to cause us all to think a bit about those early days of cricket. Well, now I'll move along a little bit further, and a friend of mine was a real cricket maniac, and he asked me would I write a little poem about cricket. So I did that, and I've called this poem They Call It Cricket. It goes like this. Most Australians love their cricket. On that I will agree. But I must admit that cricket was not my cup of tea. They speak a foreign language that makes no sense at all. Sticky wicket, dibbly-dobbly, cow corner and fly ball. If you aren't confused already, there are many more they utter, like a feather bed and flipper, bunny, block hole, daisy cutter. A mate of mine showed his concern. He begged, give the game a go. Come watch a test match with me, and your love for it will grow. I agreed I would go with him. Well, you'd do that for a mate. With our sunnies, hat and zinc cream, we were headed for the gate. Some members of the audience came along in fancy dress, with watermelon helmets. Why, I'll never guess. Another group with silver hair had big mics held in their hand. They sat themselves together in one place of the stand. 3 men walked out onto the field. 2 were dressed in cream. They played the shortest game of 2-up that I have ever seen. They wagged their heads a little and walked out through the fence. I looked strangely at my best mate, but he sat forward in suspense. About a dozen blokes then came out and spread themselves around. They started some weird exercise, and chanting filled the ground. Then 2 batsmen came onto the scene, wearing pads and swinging bats. On their heads they wore these helmets instead of nice green caps. One of them was angry. He bashed the pitch hard with his bat. He kicked the ground in front of him, then settled after that. Then the one they called a bowler was mad as he could be. He came charging at the batsman, threw the ball and hit his knee. "How's that?" the bowler shouted. The umpire shook his head. The bowler strode off in a huff. His face was flushed and red. He came in charging once again. The crowd all shouted, "Ooh!" The batsman had to duck right down as past his head it flew. Then I understood the helmets and the padding that I saw, for the game we all call cricket came very close to war. The batsman faced the bowler and the ball came flying back. This time he hit the bouncer with one almighty whack. The crowd all shouted madly and jumped up from their seat. The ball came flying through the air and landed at my feet. I must admit I got excited. I never felt that way before. So I threw the ball back to him and shouted out for more. Sad to say, I'm now converted. I've taken to the game, and now my summer weekends will never be the same. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again on another topic.